Welcome back to Brain Bite Size. Today, we're diving into the captivating world of psychology, the study of the mind and behavior. Over the decades, researchers have uncovered incredible insights into why we think, feel, and act like we do. We've got 15 amazing psychological facts that will blow your mind. Number 1. The backup plan paradox. You've probably been told countless times always to have a backup plan. It's seen as practical advice, right? Well, studies suggest otherwise. Having a backup plan might hinder your success. Here's why. When you create a backup plan, you acknowledge the possibility of failure in your primary goal. This acknowledgement can decrease your motivation to achieve that primary goal. The reason for this lies in the expectancy theory, which suggests that our motivation is directly linked to our expectation of the outcome. If you anticipate other options or alternatives, your mind might trick you into thinking that it's okay not to put your all into achieving your primary goal. This means you should consider potential obstacles or challenges before you can easily throw yourself into projects. But it suggests that you focus more on your primary goal and less on your alternatives. Number 2. The yawning connection. Your contagious yawn shows your ability to connect emotionally with others. It's like a reflex wired into us to strengthen our social bonds. Even if you slept well, you might yawn with your colleagues during those early morning meetings. This instinctive reaction is so powerful that even reading about yawning or thinking about it can trigger one. You might be fighting off a yawn right now just hearing me talk about it. So, the next time you catch yourself yawning because someone else did, don't be quick to blame it on your lack of sleep or boredom. Instead, take it as a reminder of your innate capacity for empathy and social connection. Remember, yawning isn't just about being tired, it's also about being attuned to those around us. Number 3. The power of personal impact. Research shows that humans are more likely to donate or extend help when we see the face of a single person in need, as opposed to when we're presented with statistics about a broader crisis. It's not that we're indifferent to the larger issues, it's just that our empathetic response is often more strongly triggered by personal stories. Think about it this way. When you see a news story about one person who's fallen on hard times, you can visualize their struggles, their hopes, their fears. You can put yourself in their shoes and feel a connection. On the other hand, when you hear about thousands or millions of people suffering, it's harder to comprehend and connect with those numbers on an emotional level. This phenomenon underlines our innate desire to make a meaningful impact, even in the face of overwhelming challenges. We want our actions to count, to bring about change, and it's easier for us to see that change when it's personified in a single individual. So, it's not that we don't care about the bigger picture, it's just that our brains are wired to respond to personal narratives. This power of personal impact is a testament to our inherent empathy and need for connection. It's a psychological fact that truly blows the mind. Number 4. The curious case of memory peaks. Have you ever noticed that beginnings and endings are easier to recall than middle sections? Whether it's the first and last chapters of a book, the start and end of a vacation, or a movie's opening and closing scenes, these moments stick out more in our minds. This is due to a psychological phenomenon known as the serial position effect. According to research, we tend to remember the first and last parts of an experience more vividly than the middle. The reason? Our brains have a propensity for both recency, recalling the most recent information presented, and primacy, remembering the first pieces of information we encounter. So, if you're trying to recall details from a meeting, a lecture, or conversation, and find that the middle could be clearer, don't fret. It's not a sign of poor memory. Rather, your brain naturally prioritizes the beginning and end of the experience. The serial position effect is a testament to the fascinating ways our memory works. So, the next time you recount an event, remember that it's perfectly normal if the middle section seems hazy. Your brain is just doing its thing. Number 5. Balancing the scale of positivity. It's no secret that our brains are wired to focus more on negatives than positives. This is a survival mechanism from our prehistoric past, when it was crucial to remember dangerous situations to avoid them in the future. But what if we could counter this bias? Research shows it takes approximately 5 positive experiences to outweigh a single negative one. This might seem like a heavy scale to balance, but there's a powerful tool at our disposal: gratitude. Cultivating gratitude is a lot more than saying, "thank you." It's about consciously embracing positivity, acknowledging the good in our lives, and expressing appreciation for it. By doing so, we can gradually shift our mindset and balance the scales in favor of positivity. This doesn't mean ignoring the negatives or glossing over problems. Rather, it's about giving equal weight to the positives and not letting the negatives overshadow them. By focusing on the good, we open the doors to more joyful experiences and a more positive outlook on life. So, whenever you encounter a negative experience, challenge yourself to find 5 positive ones. It's not just about putting a positive spin on things but about genuinely appreciating the good around us. This is the power of positivity and the amazing way it can transform our perspective. Number 6. The taste of someone else's cooking. Ever noticed how food prepared by others often seems to taste better? Whether it's a meal cooked by a friend, a family member, or even a restaurant chef, there's something about not having to do the cooking ourselves that enhances the flavor. Researchers have an explanation for this phenomenon. It's all about delayed gratification and the diminishing excitement that comes with it. When we cook for ourselves, we're involved in every process step from preparing the ingredients to cooking. By the time we sit down to eat, the anticipation has worn off, reducing our overall enjoyment of the meal. However, when someone else takes the culinary reins, we're only privy to part of the process. We're simply presented with the final product, and the anticipation builds until we take that first bite. This delay in gratification can make the food taste more delicious simply because we have yet to be involved in its preparation. So, the next time you have the opportunity, let someone else cook. You will get a break from the kitchen and find the meal tastes even better. It's an intriguing psychological fact that adds a little extra flavor to our understanding of human behavior. Number 7. The certainty of anticipation. It's a common question. Would you rather know something bad is coming, or would you prefer to remain in suspense? Research suggests that we, as humans, prefer the former. Our brains are not particularly fond of uncertainty. The unknown makes us anxious and prompts us to speculate on various outcomes, often leading us down the path of worst-case scenarios. This can result in unnecessary stress and worry. However, our brains can better manage the situation when we know what's coming, even if it's something negative. The certainty allows us to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for the upcoming event, and this preparation can make the situation seem less daunting. This is why transparency is so important in all areas of life, from personal relationships to professional settings. Being upfront about potential challenges or negative outcomes can help ourselves and others manage anxiety more effectively. So, the next time you face a difficult situation, remember the power of anticipation. Embracing transparency and preparing for challenges can make them easier to handle. It's a testament to our brain's ability to adapt and respond to the world. Number 8. The revolt against restrictions. Ever wondered why teenagers often rebel when grounded, or why people resist wearing masks despite health recommendations? This can be explained by a concept known as reactance. Reactance is a psychological response that occurs when our perceived freedom is threatened. When we feel like rules or restrictions are imposing on our liberties, we naturally resist them, even if they're for our own good. This innate desire for autonomy and control over our lives can sometimes lead us to act against our best interests. Take the example of a teenager who rebels when grounded. The grounding feels like an infringement on their freedom, triggering a reactance response. They might act out or break the rules simply to assert their independence. Understanding this psychological tendency can be incredibly useful in navigating situations where resistance will likely arise. By acknowledging and addressing the perceived threat to freedom, it's possible to reduce the reactance response. This could involve explaining the reason behind the rule or restriction, or finding a compromise that still allows for some freedom. So, next time you encounter resistance, remember the power of reactance. Understanding this psychological principle can help us navigate challenging situations more effectively and foster better understanding and cooperation. Number 9. The enigma of cute aggression. Have you ever looked at a cute puppy or a baby and felt an overwhelming urge to squeeze them? This reaction is so common that psychologists have a name for it: cute aggression. Cute aggression is our brain's unique way of managing overwhelmingly positive feelings when seeing something incredibly adorable. It may seem strange that our response to cuteness is a desire to squeeze or pinch, but it's a balancing act by our brains. When we're flooded with positive emotions, our brains try to balance these overwhelming feelings with a harmless aggressive impulse. This is why we might clench our fists, grit our teeth, or feel the need to pinch a baby's cheeks when we find them irresistibly cute. It's our brain's way of ensuring we don't become so overwhelmed with positive emotions that we might harm the adorable being in front of us. So, the next time you find yourself compelled to give a puppy a gentle squeeze, remember it's just your brain trying to manage the onslaught of cuteness. It's a bizarre yet fascinating testament to how our brains process emotions. Number 10. The comfort of confirmation bias. Have you ever noticed how we tend to gravitate towards information that aligns with our existing beliefs? This is not a coincidence but rather a well-documented cognitive bias known as confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is our natural tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms or supports our prior beliefs or values. This bias can heavily influence our media consumption and discussions, often reinforcing our pre-existing viewpoints. For instance, if we believe a diet is beneficial, we are more likely to pay attention to articles praising that diet and overlook studies that might suggest otherwise. Similarly, in political discussions, we tend to consume news from sources that align with our beliefs and dismiss those that challenge them. Acknowledging the presence of confirmation bias is crucial as it allows us to seek out diverse perspectives consciously. This awareness can help us make more informed decisions by considering a wider range of information rather than just what validates our beliefs. So, next time you find yourself nodding along with an article or dismissing a contrary viewpoint, remember the role of confirmation bias. We can broaden our understanding and foster more balanced viewpoints by challenging this bias. It's a small step towards making more informed decisions in our daily lives. Number 11. The melodies of high school memories. Have you ever wondered why the music from our teenage years resonates more deeply than songs from other periods? Research indicates that the tunes we bond with during adolescence trigger incredibly strong emotional connections. This isn't just about nostalgia, it's about how our brains are wired. During adolescence, our brains go through significant development and growth. This is when we're experiencing many firsts: first love, first heartbreak, first sense of identity, and music often serves as the soundtrack to these formative experiences. As a result, the songs we listen to during these years become deeply imprinted in our memory. When we hear these songs later in life, they can evoke vivid memories and intense emotions, transporting us back to our teenage years. It's not just the song itself but the feelings and experiences associated with it that give it such power. So, next time you find yourself getting emotional over a song from your high school years, know that it's not just nostalgia at play. It's a testament to the enduring impact of music on our hearts and minds during those pivotal adolescent years. It's a beautiful reminder of how deeply music can intertwine our emotional landscape. Number 12. The fragility of memories. Have you ever been certain about a past event, only to find out later that your memory must be corrected? This is more common than you might think, and it's due to the way our brains process and recall memories. Our memories are not accurate snapshots of past events. Instead, they're more like pieced-together pictures that our brain constructs based on various bits and pieces of information. Because of this, our memories are susceptible to errors and distortions. One of the most intriguing aspects of memory is the formation of false memories. These occur when our brain fills in gaps in our memory with information that wasn't present during the original event. This can happen based on our overall impression of an event or suggestions from others. For instance, you might remember a childhood birthday party as sunny because it was a happy day, even if it was raining. Or, you might recall a detail from a story a friend told you as if it happened to you simply because it fits your experiences. Understanding the fragility of our memories helps us appreciate the complexity of memory recall. It reminds us that our memories, while incredibly valuable, are not infallible records of our past. They are malleable, constantly evolving constructions that reflect what we've experienced and how we've processed and interpreted those experiences. So, next time you're reminiscing or recalling a specific event, remember, your memories are not set in stone. They're dynamic and susceptible to change, a testament to the intricate workings of our brains. Number 13. Finding faces everywhere. Have you ever looked at a random pattern, maybe in the clouds, a piece of toast, or even the front of a car, and seen a face staring back at you? This isn't a trick of the light or your imagination running wild. It's a psychological phenomenon revealing much about how our brains work. Pareidolia is the tendency to perceive a specific, often meaningful image in a random or ambiguous visual pattern. The most common example of this is seeing faces in objects where there isn't one. Why does this happen? Well, it's all about survival. Our brains are hardwired to recognize faces from the moment we're born. This powerful trait helps us connect with others, interpret social cues, and identify potential threats. It's so ingrained that our brains often see faces where there aren't any, simply because they're always on the lookout. This can lead to amusing moments, like seeing a face in a slice of toast or the knots of a wooden door. But it also highlights just how social we are as a species. We're constantly seeking connection, so much so that our brains will create it even in inanimate objects. So, next time you see a face in an unexpected place, remember, it's not just a quirky occurrence. It's a testament to our brain's incredible ability to seek out patterns and connections, particularly when it comes to recognizing faces. It's a small reminder of how deeply wired we are for social interaction. Number 14. The power of expectations. This concept revolves around the idea that our expectations can significantly influence the performance and behavior of others. The Pygmalion effect suggests that when we have high expectations for someone, they're more likely to improve their performance and meet those expectations. It's a powerful demonstration of how our beliefs can shape the outcomes of others. This effect was first studied in an educational setting, where teachers' expectations of their students directly impacted the students' academic achievements. When teachers believed in a student's potential, the student often rose to meet those expectations, improving their performance and attainment levels. But it doesn't just apply to education. The Pygmalion effect can be seen in various aspects of life, from sports and business to personal relationships. A coach who believes in their athlete's potential can inspire them to reach new heights. Managers who trust their team's abilities can motivate them to exceed their targets. Even in our relationships, believing in the potential of our loved ones can help them to grow and achieve more. So, the next time you interact with someone, remember the power of your expectations. Your belief in their potential could be the catalyst they need to fulfill it. The Pygmalion effect is a testament to our beliefs and expectations' significant impact on others' achievements, underscoring the importance of maintaining a positive outlook and high expectations. Number 15. Battling procrastination with short-term deadlines. Our brains are naturally wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term gains. This bias, known as temporal discounting, often leads us to focus on short-term tasks with imminent deadlines at the expense of important long-term goals. Why? Because completing these urgent tasks provides instant gratification, making them more appealing to our brains. For instance, you might find yourself cleaning your house or replying to emails, even though you have a major project due in a week. While these tasks might seem pressing and satisfying to tick off your list, they can divert your attention and energy away from larger, more significant goals. Recognizing this bias is the first step toward managing it. By understanding that our brains are predisposed to favor short-term tasks, we can implement strategies to counteract this tendency and tackle larger projects sooner. One effective strategy is breaking down long-term goals into smaller, short-term tasks. By creating mini-deadlines, you can trick your brain into viewing these tasks as urgent and rewarding. This gives you the satisfaction of ticking things off your list while progressing toward your larger goal. So, next time you find yourself procrastinating on a big project by focusing on smaller tasks, remember, it's more than just a lack of discipline. It's your brain's natural bias toward immediacy. But with awareness and strategic planning, you can use this knowledge to your advantage, battling procrastination and becoming more effective in achieving your long-term goals. If these incredible psychological insights have left your mind buzzing, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and share this video with fellow curious minds. To stay updated on more captivating brain discoveries, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And remember, our minds are like treasure troves waiting to be explored. So, until next time, keep your curiosity alive with Brain Bite Size.